Talk about being organized. Yes, some of you might be wondering, why are we doing the full moon in Capricorn a day late? Well, technically, it's not really going to matter. And I'm going to get into the reasons why very shortly as we have people into the house. For those of you streaming from my personal Facebook, hey, how are you? Those of you on my own personal YILDIZ Readings 5D page, welcome in. And those of you on YouTube who follow me, also a big welcome. Now, we're going to be looking, and I have retitled the video. I did have to reschedule due to family commitments, which I'm really not surprised. I'll just shove my ugly head on screen. Because we had the moon in Capricorn, I knew it would be something to do with family, because the direct shadow sign of Capricorn is Cancer. And sure enough, I physically had some things popping off around my tribe and family. And I do know a couple of my members. Love and thoughts to you. I have actually had them PM Discord and tell us some things that happened that were quite private. So love and thoughts with them as well. So yes, this is quite, although many astrologers have been saying not too many aspects have been happening, my perspective of this situation is going to be very different. It is because both moons happening between June and July are both full moons. One is happening at 1 degree. The next in July is happening at 29 degrees, being the critical degree point in astrology. We're going to go over every zodiac sign, and I'm more organized on this occasion, even though we're a day late. Now, the reason I said it doesn't matter is because when you get the resonance of a moon, what happens is it can be a signature of an emotional situation. It's more collective energy. It can be, yes, very personal as well. It's something happening directly inside your direct zodiac sign and with the people around you, as well as there is the collective energy. So there are themes that can be playing out for the next 2 weeks. And theoretically, because we do have two full moons, both happening in exactly the same zodiac sign, and Pluto later on in the year is ingressing back into the house of Capricorn, I do believe this moon is going to be quite significant, and it's moons, okay? So it's quite important that we do take a look at this and semi-prepare ourselves and really try to understand how we can navigate this to the best of our abilities. Because what we're going to find, and I'm going to go into the Sabian symbols of both, and I'm actually going to be getting a book for the Sabian symbols because I'm really tuning into it more so at this point in time, and it's quite helpful, maybe even if I do get a deck and I can actually, show you guys on screen what each Sabian symbol is, so you can pause the video, you can read it, and it would probably save me a hell of a lot of time actually typing it up for the screen view for those of you watching. So hello to those of you who are in America, PM, and tell us where you're actually watching from. We are going to get into the updates. And the one thing I'd like to say with this moon is, I'll get back on screen again. Like I said, 1 degree. We're going to talk about the 1 degree point. And I may enlarge this particular screen here. Where is it? Okay. So from the 1 degree point, what can I say? We'll first talk about the degree points with the Sabian symbol. The first lunation, which is happening, I'll get my notes, it's going to be happening on the 22nd of June, which for some of us, that has already occurred. That was yesterday, at 1 degree. Okay, so that's the first lunation. Now, like I said, I will be referencing your zodiac signs shortly. Okay, the Sabian symbol for this, let me make sure I connect with the correct one. Or did I close it? That's 4:30. Yes, I did. I'll open that up again. It's back here. Bloody, what have I done? Okay, open it up again. I closed all my screens. I had windows upon windows open. It'll take me 2 seconds to get the Sabian symbol, and we will have a chat about that. So it is 3 stained glass windows in a Gothic church, 1 damaged by war. Okay, Capricorn is a very interesting dynamic. It can be very Saturnian in nature. Hi, Big Casino. I was just talking about you with Angela the other day. I was like, where's Big Casino? Okay, so let's get into the Sabian symbol. So the first Sabian symbol, you picture this, you may get your own interpretation from it. This shows the need to have a strong sense of self. And, you know, the 1 degree point, you know, it's almost like the Fool card in tarot. You go from 0 to 1 degrees. It sort of is like you have an inclination that something is needing to change. You go into the 1 degree point, and it's like some of that, maybe some of the tools are coming towards you, but not quite totally there yet. A full moon is signifying a new beginning. Okay, we can feel that we're needing to end something. We can feel as though there's a sector in our life that we are feeling burdened or outgrown, or maybe we're needing to take direct action in a particular way. I do believe, because Saturn is, you know, in that kind of shadow energy with the RX zone and Neptune that will be joining it, those dynamics can be quite psychological. So we could be, unfortunately, coming through with this dynamic between 0 to 1 degree point, like the Fool card in tarot, apprehensive. We could do things that are very drastic. We could do things due to emotional responses with circumstances. But it's foggy, okay? 3 stained glass windows in a Gothic church, making the reference point to spiritual energy, trying to have faith in a circumstance, 1 damaged by war. So we are seeing 2 perspectives, but maybe one's foggy, okay? That's one analogy as well. This shows the need to have a strong sense of self, a strong constitution, or a clear sense of belief in the goodness of the world. The picture of the 3 of the need to stay strong under the barrage of bombardment. And again, because we have Jupiter in Gemini, we can, with the introduction to it, feel we are overwhelmed with information. So it's sort of like the gossip energy. It could be a lot happening on social media. We also intellectually can be thinking quite a bit, and it could be quite overwhelming. One of the 3 corners of unity, in this case, the one of love, is damaged and separated by the aggressive nature of mankind. With the shattering, the damage of the window, there is often a loss of faith, hope, and trust. Acceptance of love can lead to a healing on many levels. Careless aggression where love should be. Religious or physiological differences sparking problems. Seeking sanctuary rescue. The need for repair. Okay, so we're going to feel disconnected. And I did say, especially in the coaching section in Discord, via YouTube, I was really mentioning to the members, we're going to have this emotional response. We are human energies we're sort of like being directly impacted by this lunation. So Capricorn is a very traditional sign. A lot of the transits are bringing us into a very intuitive energy, a very almost intellectual, logical energy, whereas Capricorn is more the tried and true. Pluto has been there for a long time. It is wrapping up its cycle this year. So we do have this accidental tendency through this dynamic with the transit, where we could go back on old ground. We could get very fixed, very codependent. It's like, okay, what I'm needing is something traditional, something more stable, maybe working harder, working 3 jobs as an example. And it's premature at this point. It's gone from 0 to 1 degree. It's premature. We may make rash decisions. We're going to have a total opportunity to make a change in these areas, but we may need to not react to a circumstance through sheer frustration. We may see that in the collective with circumstances playing out, especially because Pluto being a very Capricorn, rather being a Saturnian sign. We could see it with governments. We could see it with politics. We could see it in our own lives with hierarchy and tribe and family, to do with managers and bosses, or dealing with red tape situations in our lives. And I think what we're going to really need to do is be patient and understand that the signature of the spiritual download of, maybe say we've had this light bulb moment of something physically isn't working, it's probably going to be intensified as Neptune goes retrograde, and it's very close. We're in that shadow energy. We're moving into it next month. So my suggestion would be, go into these circumstances with your zodiac signs. I'm going to mention very cautiously, because there is a potential we may throw the baby out with the bathwater and then go, heck, what have I just bloody done? Because we're frustrated. We're trying to get grounded. Where is that foundation? What can we depend on? What do we do? You know, we want empathy, but we want to protect ourselves. Do you grasp what I'm saying? Now, as we transition over to the next Sabian symbol, which this lunation is going to be, as I mentioned, the first lunation has already passed, but it resonates for over 2 weeks. That's why I'm still mentioning this video. As we transition into July, we are going to mention that lunation as well. It is, again, another full moon in Capricorn, and it's going to be on the 21st of July. It's going to be at the critical degree points. And I'm not really looking forward to this, because that's kind of the degree point Pluto is going to re-ingress into Capricorn, which everyone's probably thinking, oh, do we have to? You know, it was there for a while. It was not fun. Even a Korean will put their hand up and say, hey, I didn't really like that transit. A lot of psychology that went on for them, to do with new beginnings, apprehension, because it was over the 12th house. So with this lunation at the 29 degree point, what we also need to understand is Pluto will ingress back into the house of Capricorn October the 12th, 29 degrees. So let's look at the Sabian symbol for 29 degrees. And this sounds really political, right? It states at the 29 degree point, directors of a large firm meeting in secret conferences. This would not surprise me, because we do have Mars next month making quite a hard aspect. And I did note it. I need to get the exact date. I believe it's happening on the 15th. I will double check in a moment. And it is Mars in Gemini making a conjunction to Uranus and Taurus, which can be quite volatile. So mark the 15th down. I'll double check it now. And keep your cool. And don't be surprised if you don't see something in the media to do with something really popping off extremely quickly. So I'll have a look for July, and I'll get the exact date. Bear with me. I'm telling you a lot of information. Okay, so yes, it is the 15th. So on the 15th of July, Mars in Gemini will make a oh, no, it's going to be in Taurus. Oh, that's even worse. Okay, so it will make a conjunction. Mars will make a conjunction to Uranus and Taurus. So we will mention some locations to watch for and some themes to watch for. So, director of a large firm meeting in secret conferences. The symbol shows meetings with others in order to lay out plans, to have secret meetings of people that are often VIPs in some way, or at least in charge of decisions, or governments or empires. So it can be like hierarchy, it could be bank managers, it could be political. These are the analogies of this. Also can be hierarchy within family. Again, it's Capricorn. It could be, you know, interventions of some description. The director meeting, the conference, or just conference calls, exchanging views, ideas, gossip. Jupiter and Gemini. There may be decisions to be made or plans to be laid. Do you make all the decisions on your own, or do you need help? You can often call on the relevant knowledge of friends or authorities, as you're bound to know them and how to meet with them. Okay, what else is there? To iron out the details. Okay, sometimes, however, you may feel shut out by those in charge. Yeah, sharing of secrets, the big guy calling the shots, government secrets, spies, strategies, council doors, exchanging. Yeah, okay, so big stuff, right? Now, separate. Let's get into the locations. We're going to get into the locations you need to bear in mind and where some things can be popping off. And it was so interesting. Already I have seen something really occurring that does link to these locations. So the locations to keep in mind are going to be on screen. The shadow sign of Capricorn is Cancer. And the direct locations I've listed above, you may see circumstances in the media to do with this. I also do believe, because we have the axis of Cancer and Capricorn, here are the locations for Capricorn. Other subjects that can be coming up is homes, okay? Homes, where we're living, cost of living, building homes. We may find, I'm going to do a webinar based on this, especially to do with, you know, we've had subjects to do with, are we going to have more houses? Are there enough houses versus people? What do we do with that? What do the stars say? And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to bring it to you guys and give you some time points of when those potentially can come. So these countries above are going to be in the media in some shape or form. Separate, and that's between now and next month quite significantly. Also, because we do have Mars in the house of Taurus, we do have Cyprus, Tasmania, Iceland, and as mentioned, all up on the screen, you can see the locations. Now, Jupiter in Gemini is expanding things. We will see in the media things to do with travel, transport, space, large animals, expansion. This can even be living in caravans. All of a sudden, it could be okay. A lot of clients I've been dealing with at the moment, they're looking at, okay, where would I live? What's in my transits? And it's like, ironically enough, I do actually see RVs having a comeback. And it can be that suddenly people are looking at different ways that they can actually live. And it could be caravans, it could be campsites, it could be, you know, sort of communities, so to speak. But Jupiter and Gemini is going to be expanding things to do with the subjects that are on screen. Saturn during its retrograde, during this current lunation, moving into next month, the one thing I will say is Uranus in Taurus now is sitting on its own, and we're going to see in its retrograde big things. We will talk about that later, but next month we're going to have Neptune moving retrograde. We can see a whole lot of water happening then, more water, definitely things to do with the ocean. But if you feel disillusioned, know that it could be something to do with these transits between Saturn and Neptune. Don't take it personal. Get the PDF and say, okay, these areas I'm going to mention in your life, how can I look at these circumstances differently, and how can I make that physical change? It's very common to become disillusioned. We do have something on YouTube called Better Health, and I have been giving them a shout out lately because I do feel between now and as we have the nodes change next year, really caring for our mental health is going to be quite important because we can become disillusioned. The transits can give you a signature of when that can come up. And then when it does occur, we know either to have our first aid kit, you know, our friendship groups, our tribes, or our toolkit so we can do something about it. And also know that we're not going crazy, that it is part of the transits, but also to have that mindfulness and to have that self-care going on. So my tips at the moment is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay? You're going to have enough time. There's going to be some big changes. We definitely can be seeing things in the media. And, you know, I would at this point in time probably watch the news, but keep an open mind at this stage. Now, we are going to go into your zodiac signs to give my predictions of what I see happening for each of you. Now, Aries, this has been quite a tough lunation. especially because a lot of you probably were picking this signature up a few months ago. Maybe you put the circumstance to bed and it's coming up again to rear its ugly head. This also could have been something that you were working incredibly hard for in your life, and maybe you were feeling that there were a lot of blockages where it did come to you getting your physical career in a location where you're really wanting it to be. Pluto was in that zodiac sign for a long time. That was creating a lot of transformation and change. So what Pluto does is it comes in and it gets rid of the dead wood. So it could be that you had a lot of changes in your career over, I would say, the last 12 years, okay, maybe longer. Or it was like you felt nothing was moving. You were pushing things uphill. But usually what Pluto does is it will make the changes that it feels necessary for you to liberate yourself. Now, you are having this link to your 10th house. Now, the 10th house, say you're not working. It's to do with what your purpose is in life. So could it feel at this point in time like you're having an existential crisis? You're like, why is everything popping off? Yes, it can be. But it's not, okay? It's that you are evolving and changing, and because of that, you're kind of like, okay, what do I do here? Who am I? I'm dealing with tribe and family over here, and where do I fit in? This also can be to do with the shadow energy of your romance house. It can be you versus other people. How do I balance both worlds? And I feel you're going to come to a middle ground of it, but I feel you just got to be really gentle with yourself. If you are wanting to make changes, I would use the first 2 weeks. If you know something is just shonk and it's terrible, you've got to do what you've got to do. We're not in a Mercury retrograde at this stage. We're in a Jupiter and Gemini, so it's very Mercury in nature. You can branch out, you can expand, you can do things. But there has been, with the introduction to Jupiter in Gemini, a lot going on. So forgive yourself if you haven't been able to achieve a lot, and know that this lunation moving into July, you can have some significant changes. And it could be like the Sabian symbol, you're seeking advice, you're seeking counsel. You could be going to an astrologer or going to a professional for something relating to it. But you also could be deciding to give something to yourself. So if you feel you've been giving to too many, but you haven't been honoring yourself, for you, I feel you're going to be looking at this from a perspective of, how do I get myself back? So your career, your energy of who you are with you, your family, where you live. It could be a home-based business you're looking at. You could be wondering, you could be actually looking to your career as the problem, but it might be the polar opposite. What is the shadow sign? It can directly be subjects around where you're working, where you're living, being a bit of a conundrum, or it could be you're wanting to work so you get a house. You're going to have the solution. It could be journaling down what you want to do to have the direct understanding of what is really going on here. I hope that helps. Now, Taurus, you guys have this happening in your 9th house. Now, this can be to do, okay, 9th house is interesting. 9th house can be to do with religion, philosophy, marriage, litigation. Could it be a divorce? Yes, it could. But it's to do with Jupiter energy. It's to do with expansion and growth in your belief systems. But anything surrounding the 9th house. So if this is to do with your career, what you're going to find is you might be trying to expand things. This could be wanting to write a book. This could be wanting to expand your horizons and network, wanting to get the word out. This could be travel involved as well. You may feel as though you are needing to connect with your siblings in a different way. You could be actually having subjects to do with family and siblings cropping up at this time. And it could be, if you weren't seeing eye to eye with this individual, something could kind of pop back up again. But this also could be a time that they are going through something different, and you could be leaning into that circumstance. But this also can be some changes happening there. It is a full moon. Yes, being that the shadow sign is Cancer, it could be looking at your home, wanting to expand it, wanting to have more fun, have more spontaneity. But I definitely feel there is an expansion happening. There is a connection to your roots. You could be looking at something extremely traditional. And yes, could we project? There is a possibility we could project, because the Capricorn frequency is extremely traditional. So this could be somebody projecting on you, or directly you feeling, no, this is the way to go. I would give it a couple of weeks if you're wanting to go in a particular direction, sign up for a course, become a teacher, travel, move a connection to the next level, go to a spiritual camp of some description. I feel whatever is playing out for you linking to that 9th house, I do directly feel it's going to make more sense. If you go into avoidance, what you can find is it's going to happen anyway. Okay, it definitely will happen anyway. Hello, Ben, how are you? Okay, on to the next zodiac sign. We have Gemini. Oh, Gemini, the 8th house. Okay, if the 8th house is to do with tax, debt, legacies, inheritances, other people's money, for you with this moon, you may be needing to fix something on your house. There could be plumbing issues. There could be a need to change. Now, if it is a physical business, for instance, you're running from home, you could be looking at doing things to actually have deductions, for example. And again, this is not financial advice. You could be looking at, okay, how do I generate more income coming from other people's money? It could be something to do with paperwork, tying up of loose ends. I would definitely say at the 1 degree point, you could feel a little bit out of your depth, whatever it is. But as it does transition over, you'll find that it's going to make more sense. But don't avoid these things. Look at it. Don't make drastic decisions right away. But definitely as it transitions through into July, it's something that you really need to be chipping away at and moving towards. The other thing is, if you're in a partnership, for instance, this can be a time where your partner is going through a career transition. It won't end up being bad, because if it's aspected, generally it was destined to happen. It tends to be more better boding for that individual in a transitional field. You also can be looking at joint resources, be it savings and bonds or etc. Those things are going to be something that you're looking at. You do want to live a more sustainable way. So I definitely do see maybe you trying to get things in order so that you're more resourceful, and it does feel more resourceful. 8th house can also be very difficult. It can feel as though we're a bit overwhelmed. We don't really know what to do. We're out of our depth. We may not want to address certain things, and then it gets to the point you have to. But I'm not getting anything really bad from this. I just feel it's something that emotions relating to shared resources, the depth of feel, and what you're really going to be ushering into your life is, if you are single, it's going to be a partner that's coming and really investing in you. It's someone who's wanting to really put the energy in. This also could bring a blast from the past back, and that could be for a lot of people, especially because the energy of Pluto in Capricorn is a very old energy. And I do predict this year, really, as we are moving towards those hard aspects and those transformative aspects, we are going to be seeing a lot more people reconnecting with individuals that they saw many, many moons ago. Cancer, yours is really happening. It's in your shadow sign. Okay, so it's quite personal to you. It's personal in a sense that, as you are a moon energy, you're very used to lunations. You're used to the ebbs and flows like the ocean. This links to your 7th house. Now, yes, could it be to do with a physical person? It could be wanting to make changes within a romantic relationship. For some of you, this could be to do with reconciliation. It could be to do with a breakup. It definitely is going to be very individual. A lot of times when I've seen transits and I am in a partnership, there were times I wasn't in a partnership on many hundreds of occasions. What I have seen, especially if you're in a relationship and you feel it's, you know, it's going fine, what it can be is something within your body. And I do feel it's really important for you, Cancer, at this point. If you're feeling something's off, getting it checked. It's very Venusian in style. It's to do with your money, your resources, marriages, contracts, partnerships, your diet, your nutrition, monetary value, things you enjoy, how you connect with individuals, how you feel. This can be, for some, it could be going from being single to couple. It could be if it's a really toxic relationship, look, this just isn't working for me. This contract does not just have to be linking to a romantic one. This could be friendship groups at work, especially with it being a Capricorn energy. It could be, what else could we say? To do with the old style relationships and where they were in the value system. You could be coming through very traditional at this point in time, which could feel super strange. So reconciliations, possible breakups, moving a relationship in a different direction, getting the chemistry back, taking accountability and responsibility. It could be that you're feeling the other person needs to. So it's going to land where it lands. You definitely could find you could be signing paperwork. You could be trying to make a decision about what to do in those areas. This also can be information and gossip coming through the grapevine that is going to wrap an old circumstance up to start you in a brand new direction. Leo. Do we have any Leos in the house? This for you links to your 6th house. And many of you might have said 100 times over, oh my gosh, yes, I've had some things going on with my wellness. You can feel run down. You may have had over the last few years feeling like you were your own worst enemy, doing too much, getting out and about. You are very governed and affected by, like I mentioned with Cancer, you guys, both Cancer and Leo, are very affected by eclipses. You're also affected by lunations. You may need to be quite detached during lunations. And if you can get into a habit of doing such, you're going to cope with full moons, new moons, and eclipses a whole lot better. That is your toolkit. Knowing that during those lunations, you are a sun energy. It's almost like being scared of the dark, but you're not. It's like I had clarity. And then, like we were talking about in the Sabian symbol, the 3 stained glass windows, 1 broken. When you don't see where you're going, you could actually make decisions you're really going to regret. So don't emotionally do things. Wait a few days, always after a lunation, to make a solid decision. It's almost like going to the supermarket hungry and you're going to end up with a whole lot of junk in your trolley and you're deeply going to regret it. I know, because I do it myself, and it's like, look, I better eat before I go or take a drink with me, and then I'm going to rationally spend. So I would say, from an emotional point of view, wait 2 to 3 days after the lunation, sit with it, journal, get a sum up of that dynamic of how you felt. It's almost like an ebb and flow wave you'll get, and then you can sum up and make a firm kind of download as to what that is for you. Yet if you make a decision during the lunation, you're more inclined to regret that, point blank, because your sun, the moon, is bringing it emotional. You're like, I don't really know where I'm going at this point. And we can just make rash decisions, a bit like a Libra, undecided. It's like, right, that one. And then after, it's like, no, that wasn't really what I wanted. So take your time with it. I am a Libra. I do make, I don't make decisions unless I feel it. That's it. I just won't. So don't commit to it unless you totally know. Yours is in your 6th house. So it is about creating good habits. It is about patterns and habits, breaking bad patterns, your health and your well-being. If you feel something's off, going and getting it checked. This also can be a place where, if you are enabling someone, you need to stop. Again, 6th house can be you wanting to get fit, you're wanting to get back on board. You also could feel burnt out. It's getting into a structured habit and a pattern. It could be going to bed early so that you can be productive in the day, or getting up early so you can be productive in the day. It's looking at the patterns and habits and cycles. Whatever has been unsolved, unresolved, it can be coming back and sort of, I can't say, we'll say it, rearing its ugly head. Something is needing a new beginning. Something is needing a refresh, a boost. You could be refreshing your routine, refreshing your daily activities and how you manage circumstances. This can be due to work as well. So it's not a negative thing, but if you have a goal or a plan, I feel if you restructure things and try to keep them simple, you're going to have more success. But definitely keep an eye on those areas. This could be a time where if you do have a pet, it's important to care for that pet a bit more and keep an eye on it, because the 6th house can also be associated to pets. Virgo, your 5th house. Okay, this can be, 5th house is quite a cheeky one. Do we have any Virgos in the house? 5th house is creativity. You know, moon can be the emotion. It is a new beginning. This can be to do with fertility. This could be to do with a romantic liaison, to do with freedom to just be fun-loving. It could be fancy-free. It also could be creative. So it doesn't have to be an illicit affair, you know, because it's not the 7th house or the 9th house. The other thing I can say for Taurus is the 9th house can be marriage. So Virgo, for you, this energy can be a time where you are looking at your feelings to do with wanting to have fun, wanting to be creative. If you're looking at a business, it could be, okay, how do I get into that creativity? You could be getting frustrated with your kids. You could be getting frustrated with the style of romance. It could all be going great, but something is changing in it. Something is changing in the way you're relating. Something is changing in the way that maybe you are able to spend money and you're doing those things. It could be a circumstance happening on your side of the fence, a partner's side of the fence, if you're in a relationship where it does come to children, where it does come to family and, you know, wanting to actually go in your direction, but maybe you're feeling semi-pulled back. But there is a new creative energy. This could be all of a sudden deciding to be spontaneous and do something different and do something quite creative. There also could be a gathering of some description with a group, a family, a tribe. This also can be really confining in somebody who you feel is very, very close to you, that really understands you, where you maybe don't want to hurt an individual, but you want to have a private conversation with them. You want to kind of mull over a circumstance. It's like airing your dirty laundry, but with no risk whatsoever. So, it's kind of, yeah, it's more from an intuitive perspective. You could be trying to work something out. Again, with the shadow sign, Cancer. The other thing I can say, though, is this can be a time where you could be very fertile. Okay, something with your kids also can be changing. They could be transitioning. They could be moving in, moving out. Anything to do with that. You also could be spiritually coming to terms with things and moving in a particular direction. What do we have next? We have Libra. How many Libras do we have in the house? Libra, you guys have had the North Node and the South Node going on. So yes, just like Aries, it has been pretty difficult for you guys. I would say for you at this point in time, there are big transitions. Number one, to pay attention to your wellness. You could have a lot going on because of both Saturn and Neptune gearing up ready to go retrograde. So anything that's unfinished, you're going to find you're going to have a bit more time. So, you know, Saturn has been really causing issues with time management, getting things done, feeling quite burdened, feeling quite responsible. Things to do with maybe father energy could be coming up spiritually, be it they're here on this realm or not. For you, there is a lot to do with family. Now, this has been quite hard for you, Libra, over the years, to do with mother energy, to do with family, to do with father energy, to do with physical living environments. You might have felt like you're living here, then you're not, you're somewhere else, and there's been this long, drawn-out frequency with dramas relating to that particular area. You also could be really making some solid decisions, feeling very anxious. And I feel it's unique that this has really come out up inside your read, because I do also feel this links to collective energy. So it can be that you are looking at, okay, I want to buy a house. You know, how is that a possibility with the economics of the world? Or where do you call tribe home? What are you going to do about that? Funny enough, we do have in about 3-4 years' time, we do have the North Node moving into Cancer. And I feel that will be a key point for collective energy as well as zodiac signs, linking to home, linking to, you know, sort of attaining a home, if that's something you're looking for, around that time. So there could be many of you trying to rearrange your home at the moment, cleaning it up, spring cleaning, looking at home-based businesses, dealing with family-related dynamics. You're wanting a new beginning, okay? You're going to see some changes happening in the physical environment. This also could be repairs that you're needing to be doing around the home front associated to such. You also, with Saturn and Neptune both going retrograde, may need to look after your pet's health around this transition. You also could end up getting a pet, okay? So both pets may be getting a bit unwell, needing a bit more care, being a bit more temperamental. In the retrograde, care for their health. In the direct, keep an eye on it for a few weeks. And as it eases into that direct, it can be a lot better. But definitely a lot of responsibilities on your plate at this point in time. And again, things are going to bode well, but the changes you're wanting, some of you might have been like working out of the house and now suddenly you're wanting to swap, or vice versa. Subjects to do with mother also are going to go through some transition at this point in time for you, Libra, at this time. I feel you're trying to get organized. This can be structure, organization. You could feel to a point that you're needing to be at home. You also could feel a little bit like a rat in a cage, but those dynamics are going to be transforming, and anything home-based and family and mother and your routine around those environments, what you do, you could feel as though you can't get to your goals because you're being pulled in so many directions. It's temporary, although keep an eye on October for when Pluto ingresses back into Capricorn, and that's for everyone really. So on the 12th of October, it's going to re-ingress back. Keep an eye on the 21st of July as sort of a signature to Pluto ingressing back in. And if you guys haven't been having fun, we do have Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius at this point in time. It is currently retrograde. Because it's at the early degree points, you're going to feel that's impossible, but it is going to change. Scorpio, I do feel this lunation is really going to affect you. Quite heavily, actually. You do have things to do with your third house coming up. You're going to be very busy. You could feel very intellectually pulled in many directions. You could be signing a contract or dealing with information. A lot of gossip can be coming past you at this point in time. You also could be dealing with a circumstance surrounding a vehicle or a sibling. Cross your T's and dot your I's. Read your paperwork. Know what you're dealing with. Your communication style also can be quite emotional. So being cautious of the communication, especially in the first 2 weeks of this lunation, moving over into July. Try to keep you cool. Now, the date that we're having that conjunction, I'll have to re-mention it. It's going to be on the 15th of July. On the 20th, keep an eye on that too, because Mars will enter into Gemini. I think that's going to be quite a volatile point. So we have July the 15th And we also have July the 20th for those two aspects to be cautious of. So communication styles, contracts, having interesting talks with family, gossip getting around. Be careful who you're telling things to. Keeping your information to yourself. Uh, Dealing with vehicles, dealing with diet and nutrition. There could be some changes happening in that domain. You could be eating on the run. It might be a time where you're needing to transform, eat slowly. Indigestion maybe is something that some of you have been experiencing. But, you know, dealing with family members, dealing with hierarchy, and maybe even feeling projected upon and kind of pushing back. I would just go into this quite gently. Good time to journal. Definitely, I do feel you wanting to have some conversations. Some past situations relating to a contract may resurrect themselves. You also could be doing paperwork in relation to it. Sag, you are having changes happening in your second house. So this can be selling of a home. This could be gaining an asset. This could be a goal to increase your net worth. This also could be a change happening surrounding maybe previous superiors. They could, you know, it could be that they're not there anymore. It might be that you're updating your resume and needing to change it. You also could be looking at your wealth. So it's kind of like the material value. So this could be if you are physically looking to have a pay rise, or you're feeling that the income that you have is not enough. I would go easy into it in the first 2 weeks. You may be able to address it maybe with a boss and say, look, I'm really looking for a pay rise. Be patient with it. You also could be looking outside the box for ways to increase your net worth. So this could be a side hustle. It could be an investment portfolio. This could be purchasing of a piece of land. Selling assets, getting rid of assets. It could be working on an asset. However it's playing out for you, this also is going to transform your physical nutrition because it is the second house. So it may be for some of you that you're being more strict, you're eating healthy, suddenly you're having this revelation. It's like, could be teeth related as well. I don't know why I'm picking that up. And I think that also is for Scorpio, paying attention to your teeth, your communication, your health. So both of you really are going through a similar circumstance. So for Sagittarius, I would just say, being careful with the income. I think a lot of you guys may be looking after ensuring your net worth. Making changes to it, upgrading certain things. There could be, if you have an investment property and you've got somebody living in it, it could be that you're needing to do some upgrades. You know, anything down to plumbing, anything down to repairs. There could be some circumstances going on. You also could be doing that in your physical abode that you're living at, be it you're renting or be it you own it. Just be resourceful with your physical resources. Updating of your resume. This can be a great time to do such if you really hate your job. And you may find during the circumstance there is a possibility of a pay rise. But it's funny, you know, we tend to get a pay rise and what do? We spend more. So have your goal in mind and at least allocate a portion to maybe savings or something that you're wanting to do so that you're not going into it and getting that same vibration. Go into it differently. You know, I do feel some of you are making some very firm decisions about the direction that you're wanting to go. You could feel a little bit disillusioned in these areas for all zodiac signs initially, but we also could start having some very significant changes coming about in very unique ways. Anything down to the lottery, for instance. It could be, wow, okay, I wasn't really expecting that, and suddenly you're a millionaire. One example, not financial advice. Yeah, so really doing bookkeeping, getting paperwork, you know, doing budgets, actually looking at where the cash is going, checking your accounts and your logins, talking to a professional or a broker is a possibility. Selling, buying, definitely increases. Big changes happening around the second house for you. Now we have Capricorn. For you, Capricorn, you are so aware of what this frequency is, okay? Pluto had been caning you for many years, and many of you were very grateful to have Pluto move into Aquarius. You were like, good grief, can I just have a break? So this was helping you very gradually, and you might not have seen the rewards yet. Increase your net worth, your finances, your wealth, your diet, your nutrition, teeth. Again, that can be for Sagittarius too. Teeth. So Capricorn, for you, this is personal. This is your status. It could have been you were married and then you were divorced. It could have been you're a widow and now you're going into a relationship. But there was a lot of personal things changing. You also could have felt that who you were in the world changed, just kept changing. So it might have been you're a mother or you're a wife or you're a career person. So your physical status, how the world saw you, went through many evolutions with Pluto in your zodiac sign, and it really might have made you feel that you had to change, but nobody else in the world was. But trust me, I understand. Very hard transitions and changes, images, health, identity, partnerships, relationships, all those energies have been hitting you quite heavily. Now, this can be, it's a moon, it's an emotional time. The shadow energy, you can feel slightly alone, I would just say. It does bode well in your zodiac, though. The moon being in the zodiac does mean, for some of you, you can really hold it together. For some of you, you can make very bold decisions about a change that's happening. Some of you, your physical status is going to be changing. So this could be going from single to be partnered. This can be making firm decisions about the direction you want to take your life, suddenly becoming a grandparent or a mother. Big personal changes, even in your physical image, are going to come about. People are going to look at you as though you've got your shit together and you're very responsible, and you can react to emergency situations very quickly as well. But this is very personal, so go easy into it in the first lunation from the 22nd and beyond over the next 2 weeks. Definitely tune into the changes that maybe you feel intellectually are coming up for you, and the direction you want to go. And I do feel you'll have significant changes and maybe meeting the right people to help this come about for you. Aquarius, you and Capricorn have got this so in common. You had Capricorn transitioning over your 12th house. Capricorn had it happening in their first house. So it's almost like your soul sisters hanging out here. Go talk to a Capricorn and they'll tell you all about it, and go meet an Aquarian and they'll tell you all about it too. Both of you guys have been going through some big, big changes. Now, this for you, Aquarius, is linking to your, it was in your 12th house. It is now, let's see. Yeah, it's back in your 12th house again. This can be a very intellectual time. This could be almost rags to riches. For some of you, it could be, oh my God, my friggin' dreams are coming true. How the hell did that happen? Just like an out-of-body experience. You also could be very psychic during this time. You need to care for your well-being. You need to be careful of substances. It's generally not a good time during 12th house transits to do things that are dangerous. This could be skydiving or anything to that degree. You also mentally may find that you have really spiritually matured and you're looking at things differently. You could feel a lot of pressure. That is almost like situations are changing so quickly that you just can't keep up. You just can't get to a space that you feel you know what to do next. Give it a couple of days, give it a week or so, but just know Pluto is going to ingress back into Capricorn October the 12th. Both for you and Capricorn, that is quite important for you to know that date, so you're semi-prepared. Generally, you'll probably find you can pick up on it about a month before. So August, I would say, start getting mentally prepared. You can use crystals that can really help you. I would probably use citrine. It's really going to help you detox and have courage. I'd use tourmaline and onyx, wash them with salt water or put them out in the moonlight. Be very selective about the lunation that you put them out in. A lot of people tend to, and I can't say a lot of people because that's really generalizing, and I have heard a couple of videos do that and it shits me to tears. It's like, we're not everyone, you know. More so be careful of a malefic zodiac sign placement. So it could be, for instance, charging your crystals at a Scorpio moon. Probably not the best. If you want to purge like an MF, yeah, go do that, okay? Being careful about the zodiac sign you're putting it under. Otherwise, if you're really unsure, do some research. You could book a reading. You could PM me, join Discord. Wash it with salt water on a smudge stick instead. And that can keep it, it's like all bases covered sort of thing. So yes, it does really depend on the zodiac sign it's out under during that full moon or new moon lunation. So one way that you could counteract that is wash it with salt water, rinse. You then could use a smudge stick. Give it a day under maybe a pot plant inside your house to recharge it a bit, and then you can reuse it. So that can be another way that you can actually get around that lunation energy. Nor eclipses, not a good deal. You know, no meditation, no crystals during that time, but good time to wash them prior, you know, put them away and bring them back out after. So just be prepared that this could be quite a psychological time. There is better health if you feel that from a mental point of view, you are really challenged and you're feeling no good things are ever going to come. It can feel, for some, it can be felt spiritually as a Debbie Downer energy. It's the 12th house can be to do with gurus, spiritual energy, psychic. It can be to do with incarceration and imprisonment. This could be from a mental point of view or a physical. Okay, so if you feel you're needing some support, I would say trust your instincts and go deal with it ASAP. Don't let it get to a point it's too bad. The other thing is dreams can come true here. And know that this Pluto in Capricorn is going to leave you after this. It's going to leave you be. You're more than likely going to have a lunation in a particular zone. But Pluto will be out of that zone by 2025. So it's going to re-ingress back in October. It's going to sit there for a bit. A lot of the subjects that are coming up that you notice over the next 4 weeks can be quite significant. But know that you're going to get a break and then we're going to dip into October. It's coming back again, but it is wrapping up this year and you're going to be free of it. Okay, so it could be something really, really positive that you actually have that happens around this time and you just can't believe it. Now, the 12th house also can make us second guess ourselves. It can make us feel as though we don't believe in any new beginning. Why would that happen for me? So that's one way it can play out, and it can be your dreams coming true and you just don't feel spiritually deserving. It's like, how is this happening? But definitely quite psychic in nature. Listen to your instincts, journal, use your crystals, and try to work with it the best you can. And I'd love to hear how you guys go through this, you know, after the fact. I'd really love to hear from all of you telling me that direct zone in your lives, how it played out. Pisces, for you, this is quite a big, big transit. And, you know, not just because of the Capricorn moon, more so because we do have both Saturn, that's going to be retrograde, and Neptune come July, pretty big. You can feel disillusioned. You may feel you're having an identity crisis. You can feel as though things are changing. Subjects to do with teeth, bones, water, fluid, emotions, your intuition, your direction, your status. It could be a physical relationship because it's the first house. It could be your physical image, wanting to change your health and your well-being. Yeah, image, status. It could be a physical career. It's like, what am I doing here? management, the things you do for free. The 11th house with this lunation is the things you can do for free. All right. You could be really thinking you got to wrap that shit up. You could be second guessing it. You might be looking at it going, is this a good use of my time? Some of you could be wanting to launch a new project. It could be that you want to go into something that's free. Yeah, you know, a little bit like Greenpeace. It's things like that with the 11th house. This can be management. It can be a large project you want to undertake. It could be a large sum that you're wanting to go for an investment. This can be. You may be looking at wealth generation with the 11th house. There also could be subjects to do with friends changing. Some of you could hear from friends that you knew a very long time ago. Others of you can feel that your style of friendship is undergoing a transformation and change. And things can be, you know, you could personalize things around this time. You could feel as though people do not understand you. You may feel that maybe it's you that's changing, not the individuals involved around you. So, yeah, I could say some of it could feel a little bit like an identity crisis initially because you're going to be quiet in your minds. You could get frustrated, but you definitely can be changing things surrounding your money, your friendship groups, the things you do around those energies, your roles and responsibilities, projects, and launching of big situations. This also could be paying a large debt off, but I do believe these areas I've mentioned, you will be tuning into it for the next 4 to 8 weeks easy. Pay attention to October the 12th. I would say with the 11th house, you also might find that you're not quite sure how something's going to go. Try to not react to a circumstance initially without all the information. I would say with all of us, we do need to get information. It's going to be power. So the areas I've mentioned, the house systems, go away. Think about how you're seeing this play out in your life. The first Sabian symbol, to me, was really oozing. We need to get some more information. The information may not all be on hand. We might need to get a bit more clarity. And could be looking at it through rose-colored glasses or foggy glasses, okay? I'm upset, so I'm emotionally going to make a decision. Try to not do that if possible. Try and get some sleep. Try and step back from the obstacle. Assess the situation. Look at it through a different lens. Wait till things become clearer. Then as we're proceeding forward and we feel spiritually, maybe we've, you know, still coming to that consensus with an area in our life. Directors of a large firm meeting in secret conference, you know, confiding in somebody that you really trust, connecting in with maybe a professional, getting some advice, or looking at it from a professional point of view, doing your research, asking a friend, discussing maybe with whoever is linked to this circumstance. But you can actually see that some transitions and transformations can be possible. So big changes in these areas for us. How many of you have a question before I wrap it up and love you and leave you? Sorry for the delay. Hopefully next time I'm definitely going to have some more slides, more information, and we can go from there. Do we have anyone in the house that has a question? As I sip on, this is such a parent thing to do. It's like, have your coffee there, tell everyone else to grab a cuppa, but you don't drink it and then it's cold. I must say, I do like iced coffee. I still feel all the coffee places should definitely make like an iced coffee that has no sugar, because I don't like sugar. And I'm really sick of the iced coffees that the shops having sugar. I just don't like sugar. Any questions? And yes, based on your zodiac. Not is my man going to love me forever? No, from an astrological point of view, a subject maybe you're dealing with in your life potentially. So how you been, Big Casino? Long time no see. What time is it where you guys are? How are you doing, Ben? Hi, Ben. Good morning. Need to go back and watch it from the start. Yeah, I did give some tips for Leo, my love. I have the Sabian symbols, the 2 lunations. We have mentioned both moons. Yes. You're good. I'm good to hear. I have been thinking about you quite a bit. I'm like, how's Casino? So does anyone have any questions to do with these transits over the next 4 weeks? Do we have, apprehension? Do we have, are we already seeing these things play out? Are there circumstances that are playing out and we're like, oh, this is interesting? How many Aries do we have in the house? Any Aries? Any Geminis? Are Geminis enjoying Jupiter and Gemini at the moment? Are you just feeling there's way too much going on? Everyone wants a piece of you. Just be careful. You might get indulgent with that Jupiter and Gemini. So how many have a Jupiter and Gemini return? I do. I've got to keep away from that cookie jar, man. I love the lag with chats. Let's see on Facebook. Well, I may love you and leave you. If you do have any questions, you can throw them up at the end of the video. If you do need a booking and you want me to look at your birth chart, you can go through to all the information below the box or PM me on this video, however it lands, and we can give the details to you. Separately, you can join our YouTube membership. We do give transit updates, tips, pointers, read charts, etc. and more. And we also have pre-release content in there. Those of you that do like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, subscribe if you want the next update with lunations and my predictions and more. We will see you at the other side of this. I hope this helps and good luck for the transits. Give us a heads up how this hits your zodiac sign.